Don't try this at home, right?
It ain't hurting, man.
Tell me that when you got some skin missing.
Well, good morning, everybody. Danny and Wanda back from Pecan Grove. Back out here in the shop with the Farmall Cub. I was reading a lot of the comments on our last one that we put up. And a lot of people said, yeah, you're going to be September or maybe even later getting that cub, anything done to it. That's a lot of work to be done, you know. And yes, it is a lot of work, but guys, I work really fast when I do stuff. It's just always been my nature. It's who I am. I don't sit around and think about stuff a whole lot. I just make it happen, you know. So yesterday evening, I came out here for a couple of hours. It was raining, so I was in the shop. And I said, you know what? Let's just make this happen. And
the day before you had worked a couple hours. And
yeah, the day before I worked a couple of hours rebuilding the PTO assembly and stuff like that, putting the bearings in it and seals, and you know, I repainted the battery box up, or I painted the battery box over there, got it ready, and I was so excited. I said, let's put some of this stuff together where I can start seeing some progress. So I came out here, and I had stripped everything off of the tractor here. So I took the hand grinder and I actually hand ground the floor in here down. I ran that hand grinder over this floor, and I mean, I ground that sucker and ground it till I got all the rust off of it. And I looked at it and I said, man, it was all shiny metal and everything. I said, you know what? I'm going to do the fender next. So I got over here on the fender, and man, I ground all the paint off the fender, had this thing down to nice and shiny. And I kept looking at it. I said, you know what? It's going to rust if I don't do something. So I ground the rear end here. I hit the hand grinder all over the rear end, and I did the tops of the transmission here and all down through there. And then I got up under the tractor and was under the tractor even grinding stuff off under there. So I was like, you know what? I got to paint this now. So I sat down and I started painting all of it. I said, I'm going to just have to do it in sections. So I got this painted. I got the floorboard painted. I painted the pedals right there. Painted the transmission assembly through there. I didn't do this fender because I knew I got to pull this whole side off of here, the differential, to replace the brakes and all on it, put some new seals and stuff in there. And I kept looking at my rock shaft assembly sitting down there. I said, you know what? I went and got the grinder out. I grinded all the stuff off of this one and my wire brush thing, and wire brushed it all down to where it was all nice and clean, and I repainted it. And I said, okay. I got that done, and I happened to look over there. There was my seat pedestal thing sitting there. I was like, man, I'm just in this mood. It was raining. So I got the old grinder and the wire brush stuff out and everything, man. I put it on here and I went to cleaning and got all of it down. And come to find out, this came off of an industrial, evidently an industrial tractor because it was yellow. I don't think it was a lowboy because it fits this model. It had come off of an industrial Cub tractor, I believe. Because the original paint was yellow. It wasn't, it was industrial yellow, not Farmall yellow. So I got that all cleaned up, and I painted all of it, and I said, you know what? I had the piece of rock shaft here that came from Keith. I was like, I can't stop. Wanda goes, it's time to come eat. I was like, dadgummit. So I ran and ate, and I came back out, and I put the grinding wheel on this thing here, and I ground every bit of the rust off of it down to pure bright shiny steel, and I repainted everything but that one end right there. I see that now, but I got it all painted, and I went on in and stayed inside for a little while because it was so hot out here. And I sit there for a while, and I said, you know what? I'm going back to the shop. So I came back out here. I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the battery box on. Well, I set the battery box down on there, and I looked, and there was only 2 bolt holes. And the battery box had 4. I was like, what's wrong here? So I picked the battery box up, and I looked, and somebody prior, when this tractor flipped over, I'm guessing, 2 of the battery box bolts broke off flush with the housing. And I had done painted everything, and I'm like, dadgummit. I'm sitting there, I'm like, Well, I have equipment. So I drilled them. I said, well, I'll just drill them and I'll put an ease out in and I'll screw them out. Well, that didn't happen. Them things have been in there for 75 years probably. And I had to drill them to just a little bit smaller than the actual threads in the housing. And I had to take a tap, and it took me about an hour to sit there on them 2 bolts and tap them things out without ruining the threads that's in there by breaking out little pieces of the threads that was left in it. And I finally got both of them tapped out into the rear end. Went and found me all new bolts, put in that thing, bolted the battery box on there, put these bolts in here, got them all ready where they look like they're supposed to look. And I said, you know what? The rock shaft assembly had dried. I went and found new bolts that I had already in my new bolt stash, and I bolted the rock shaft on there. Well, Miss Wanda come running out here, and she said, guess what? Merry Christmas. And I said, happy birthday, whatever. Happy Father's Day,
Happy
whatever.
Happy Father's Day.
I said, what you got? I'm going to show you what she showed me now.
And he said, I didn't order that.
This is what she come bringing me. She come out here and she said, your parts are in.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. I looked and I said, I ain't ordered no CV axle. I said, this is somebody else's. This ain't mine. And she said, no, it ain't. It belongs to you. I said, baby, I ain't ordering no transaxle for nothing. And she said, well, it's got birchtractors.com wrote on the side of it. It belongs to you, I'll assure you. Well, Brandon M had taken this rock shaft rod and put it in this box right here and packed it in there pretty good. So now I went to put this thing on here. Well, all of my cotter keys were either way too little or way too big. So I was like, you know what? I'm an improviser. I stuck this thing down through my drill thing, and I figured out what drill bit would fit these big things here, and I drill that sucker out so that now I can drop that baby in there. You know, I did the same thing right up here. I drilled that one. Good tight fit. That was good. I'm like, okay, we got the rock shaft on. We got the rock shaft rod on. I said, now we're going to put this seat pedestal on here. So I had to go hunt up 2 15/16 head bolts. I had 2 new ones. And I moved that seat back as far as I could because I'm long-legged, guys. And I got that thing bolted on there now. Now I got to go on Amazon or go see Mr. Brandon or somebody and order me a toolbox to go on here, because I keep my hammer, I keep my crescent wrench is the #1 tool for a Farmall Cub. I keep a crescent wrench, I keep a 15/16 inch wrench, and I keep a 9/16 inch wrench and all, and a rag and zip ties stuck down in this toolbox, because that's the one thing I use more than anything else. Well, Miss Wanda come out here late last night and she said, what are you doing? And I told her, I said, I had grinded this seat down. I mean, I had grinded the fool out of this sucker. And it was yellow too. It was a dark yellow. I grinded this baby down, and I mean, I poured the paint to it to where it was thick as molasses on it. I did it on both sides. Now this side, I couldn't get it as smooth as I wanted it because the paint was just so thick on it. But you know what? I'm going to put a cushion on it anyway. So I don't think it really was that important.
So you don't have to sit on the pedestal no more.
Yeah, the little pedestal's kind of hard on the hiney, because it's only like maybe about 5 inches wide there.
And your butt's a little bit wider.
I got a 41-inch waist. You know?
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
It is like 36.
No, you see these overalls undone on the side right here? These 36.
You may have 38-inch waist.
I got 41-inch waist. I measured it the other day. I may not look like it, but I do.
A little skinny mini.
That's a little rough on the honey right there. Plus, it's sitting down at an angle like this, and constantly wanting to slide off the back there. So I got my tractor all done up here, got my seat ready. I don't know if Miss Wanda got me. She probably did, because she knows how haphazard I am 90% of my time. I had these bolts over there on the wire brush, cleaning them all up. And she said, I heard her say, don't do this at home, so I'm kind of figuring she was videoing me when she did that.
Yeah, you were on the
bench grinder down
bench
there
grinder
with a wire wheel, cleaning up these bolts, because that's what I was telling her. The thing about the Cub Farmall is they have a special bolt for everything. And it's got to be a certain length. It's got to be a certain thread. You can't just go to the store and just buy standard bolts all the time. You got to go in there and hunt that bolt up in that store. And 90% of the time, I end up cutting bolts off to make them work. Because where we live at, we just don't have access to a lot of the stuff out there. So, and I didn't want to have to order them. So let me see, make sure this baby will fit on there. I'm pretty sure I got the right bolts. You got to realize, I ain't checked this yet or nothing.
You better hope it's the right height.
Well, hang on here a minute. I might have the wrong bolts in. Let me look at this. Let's turn this baby over. I looked in there and they were fine thread bolts. No, that's the right ones.
You just didn't have it started.
It's just, I'm looking upside down at something here. And I can't really tell where I'm at here.
Don't look like it's going.
Let me get, I'm gonna have to get down below it. When you're tall like I am, anything short up under here like this is kind of a chore. Let me pick it up where I can see where that bolt is right there, that nut. Oh, look at that. We got one started anyway. Now, I didn't tap these out in the seat here. That's probably something I probably should have done, and I didn't do.
Got two started.
Two of them started there. This is going to be nice to have something to sit on.
That seat's better than the other one.
Oh, this one's way better than the one on the other Cub I rebuilt. The other Cub I had, it was all rusted out up in here, all around through here. I had to buy like 4 packs of JB Weld, and I had to put a screen under the bottom of it here, and I had to JB Weld that sucker all around, and then when I got it on there, I had to come back with a hand grinder and shape it all and make it like I wanted it, and then had to flip it over, hand grind the bottom of it, and JB Weld the bottom of it again, and I had to make that seat. This
one just had to have some sanding.
Yeah, this one, Brandon did a good job on getting me a good seat here. Because I told him, I said, man, please get me a good seat.
And that is Birch Tractor Company, B-U-R-C-H.
Yeah, birchtractor.com. You guys got Farmalls? Well, actually, I think any kind of tractor.
Any kind, yeah.
Old tractor like that. Let me see here what size wrench that is. Here. Yeah, that's it right there. So, and they're kind of short.
What, 5/8?
It's a 5/8 head. It's probably a 7/16 bolt or something like that. I think it's a little bit bigger than a 3/8. Maybe a half. No, maybe a 7/16. I'm excited to have a seat. Oh yeah. I'm gonna make sure that baby's on there tight. I don't want to fall off. Here.
Okay, now all I smell is paint.
Yeah, I have to live with that out here all the time.
You got this shop full of paint.
I do have a shop full of paint.
But we can't turn the fan on videoing.
No, can't turn the fan on videoing. So.
All right, see if your seat feels comfortable.
All right, that's a long step. You know that? What I'm used to.
Your other one has something.
Well, I have the bars here on the other one. I don't have them under the tractor here. This is a long step.
You need a step stool.
Actually, they make a step for these, but I think it might be in the way of some of the equipment that you use.
Well, you're going to have a bar eventually.
Yeah, I'll eventually have a bar on it. I'm still a young man. I can jump up.
See if that hiney fits that seat.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that butt.
Look at that. Actually, this seat sits way better than the one on my other one.
It looks like it was made for your butt.
The other one, I'm sitting up really close to the wheel and my legs are bumping under the steering wheel. This one, what the difference is?
This seat fits your butt.
It does.
Wow.
This seat was made for me. I like
This
that.
seat was made for his butt. And it's got a sponge.
Got sponge in it.
What do you call it? A spring.
It's got the spring in it. You know what? That may be what the difference is.
Look at this. I mean, it works when you bounce up and down. See? The original, what do you call it? Easy ride?
Yeah, this is an easy ride. Got a pogo seat on it. I can go down through the field now, bouncing around. How
Your
about
other
that?
one don't move like that, does it?
Not that easy. No, No. The other one's not.
Spring-loaded seat.
I like that, boy.
That's a fine seat, Pawpaw.
That right there. Now, I got to get over on the wire wheel. I got to do some cleaning up. We got to get over here and we got to get this rock shaft assembly stuck on it right here so we can have our, oh, let me look at something here right here. Yeah. Okay. I had to figure out which way we go in here with it. I got two bolts over there. They'll fit on this right here. And we'll have this part on back here. And then I can go get my, well, there'd be no need to do that right now. I may leave this off right now where it won't be in the way. No, I'll probably go ahead and bolt it on there.
Make your mind up.
Probably go ahead and bolt it on there like that.
This
right
is
there.
why I stay in the house.
Get that done. That way we'll have this done. And then what I'm going to do, I have a big strap system in my truck. I'm going to roll the tractor forward, like right here. I can roll it right here. I'm going to roll it right up under my I-beam here. And I'm going to run a strap probably around this rock shaft right here. And I'm going to jack this tractor up and hold it up with a strap and put a block. It has a place under here to put a block right there. We're going to take the tire off. I'm going to take the chain hoist thing and come across here. And I'm going to run a strap around the differential. And we're going to drain the oil out of it. I'm going to take the differential off. I got all new gaskets and everything to go in it. Got new brakes. We're going to put the brake on the other side works fine. This brake does not work at all. This is the side that got flipped over on, so I'm assuming something in there not right. But I have all the new stuff to put in there, I think. So we'll take this off. We're going to get the differential fixed on it next. I sure wished I could take it out and drive it around.
But we got to buy a battery.
I got to buy a battery, and I've got to buy a battery cable because the original battery cable, the negative in the box is, and I may have to order this because it's a wire, it's a flat braid wire cable, and it's made for a positive ground system. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and order the battery cables anyway, and I'll just swap them over on the battery. And I'll run the negative. It bolts right here on the side of the battery box right here. The cable stays inside the box, the negative does. The positive comes out right here, runs down through the hole in the frame right here, and runs right down through right there. Goes underneath, there's a hanger that I'll have to put right under here, and it comes up and comes underneath the dash right over here, and there's supposed to be a hanger underneath the hood, which they are. I'll have to run it up under there, and we'll just go order. I'll probably order a brand new battery cable that's made for this, both positive and negative, and we'll see if we can't get them in here and get that on there.
And get a new battery.
And a new battery, and plus, I did see the top of the transmission here, before I painted it, it was leaking oil around right here on the sides of it right here, so I may order a new transmission top gasket to go on it. Take this off of there, clean it up, put a new gasket on it, put it back on there because I don't want oil leaking out here all the time. So I'm probably going to do that. And when I take this off, I'm going to take the fender off and I'll grind down, sand down, clean the fender. I'll clean the side of the transmission off right here, and we'll go ahead and we'll paint all that for you. And in the differential, I'll clean the differential up while I got it off. I will clean the center of the tractor wheel out here. I'll take it off of this wheel and paint. I'll clean the wheel. We'll sandblast it all down. We'll paint it back silver. We'll paint this back the right color red. And when we put all this back, I may even have to order new bolts. Depends on how them are when they come out. We're going to put this baby back together on this side. It's going to be right when we get through with it. Thank you guys from Pecan Grove.